Imagine waking up to a normal morning and going to bed in a world that no longer exists. What if, within a single hour, the United States and Russia unleashed their full nuclear arsenals? Not threats, not drills, but a real, all-out exchange. Today, you and I are going to walk through exactly what would happen, step by step, from the first warning alarms to the worldwide collapse that follows. And trust me, once you understand the chain reaction, you'll realize why there are no winners in a nuclear war. Our story begins calmly. People are eating breakfast. Kids are going to school. Cars fill the highways. No one knows that hundreds of eyes in underground bunkers, satellites, submarines, and radar stations are watching every move in the sky. Then something changes. A satellite detects a flash, too bright, too hot, too fast. Algorithms trigger. Alarms scream. Screens turn red. Inside command centers on both sides, the same horrifying message appears: missile launch detected. Within seconds, phones ring, officers verify data, and the leaders of both nations face the most terrible choice ever created by humans. Do nothing and risk total destruction, or fire back immediately before the incoming missiles land. Both sides choose the second option. Across the Arctic Ocean and deep beneath the waves, American and Russian ballistic missile submarines open their hatches. Missiles blast upward through the water. They punch through the ocean surface at incredible speed, leaving giant columns of steam. In just minutes, dozens then hundreds of warheads are on their way. High above the Earth, early warning satellites confirm multiple launches from both sides. Once the first missiles are airborne, the chain reaction becomes unstoppable. The first nuclear blasts don't target cities. They happen high in the atmosphere. These are EMP warheads, electromagnetic pulse weapons. At over 300 kilometers above the ground, they explode silently, but the effect below is anything but silent. In less than a second, power stations overload and shut down. Cars suddenly stop working. Cell towers die. Hospital equipment powers off. Airplanes lose communication. The internet collapses. Nearly all electronics fail. Tens of thousands of volts wash across huge regions. Within moments, both the US and Russia are thrown centuries backward technologically. Communication becomes nearly impossible just when the world needs it most. After the MP strikes, the next wave targets military command posts, nuclear silos, strategic air bases, submarine ports, and radar installations. These attacks are designed to blind the other side and prevent any last-minute counterattack. But both nations have hidden launch platforms, mobile launchers, and submarines at sea. No matter how many targets you destroy, the other side can still strike back. That's why nuclear war planners call this stage the point of no return. Land-based intercontinental missiles take about 25 to 30 minutes to reach their targets. Ballistic missile submarines, positioned closer to enemy coastlines, deliver warheads in as little as 10 minutes. Imagine knowing the world might end in less time than it takes to cook a frozen pizza. Meanwhile, governments try to warn the public sirens, emergency messages, radio alerts, but most people never receive them because the power grid is already failing. Then the fireballs begin. Each explosion is hotter than the surface of the sun. Skyscrapers melt. Vehicles vaporize. People close to the blast simply vanish. Further away, windows explode inward. Shockwaves flatten entire neighborhoods. Millions are blinded by the flash. In just the first few minutes, Washington, D.C., Moscow, New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, St. Petersburg, Seattle, and Houston are all hit. Military bases in Europe and Asia are also struck. And because of NATO obligations, countries like the United Kingdom and France are targeted as well. This is no longer a war between two nations. It is now a continental collapse. The blast is only the beginning. Fires erupt everywhere on buildings, cars, grass, forests, pipelines, and fuel tanks. In big cities, the flames combine into one giant firestorm. These storms create hurricane-force winds as the fire sucks in oxygen. Everything that can burn burns. Wood, plastic, cloth, paper, fuel, asphalt, cars, furniture. Temperatures climb high enough to melt metal. Smoke rises miles into the sky. Inside the firestorm, no one survives. The smoke from nuclear firestorms is not ordinary smoke. It is thick, black, carbon-sooty particles that absorb sunlight like a sponge. Because firestorms generate their own rising heat, this smoke is carried above normal clouds, high into the stratosphere. And here's the terrifying part. Once smoke enters the stratosphere, rain cannot wash it away. it can stay there for years. Jet streams spread this layer of black carbon around the entire northern hemisphere within days. The planet begins to darken. With sunlight blocked, temperatures drop, crops fail, oceans cool, rainfall decreases, and growing seasons collapse. Summer feels like winter. In some areas, frost appears in July. Studies estimate that farmland in the central US could cool by 10 degrees Celsius, or 18 degrees Fahrenheit. Parts of Europe and Asia could cool even more. Global harvests dropped by over 70%. The world did not freeze immediately from the bombs. It freezes slowly from the sky-darkening smoke. Without sunlight, plants can't grow. Without plants, animals die. Without plants and animals, humans starve. Researchers estimate over 5 billion people could die from famine in the years after a US-Russia nuclear exchange. Even countries not directly attacked, Africa, South America, Southeast Asia, suffer massive shortages due to global crop failure. There is no trade, no supply chain, no fertilizers, no fuel. Human civilization collapses not from the blasts, but from the hunger that follows. For the survivors, electricity is gone, clean water is scarce, medical supplies run out, cities are uninhabitable, radiation zones remain deadly, governments collapse, transportation stops. Winter temperatures feel like the Ice Age. In just a few weeks, the world as we know it disappears. And yet, even here, we cannot say exactly how many people survive, or how human life continues. But one thing is clear. There are no winners in a nuclear war. Only survivors, and even they face a world that barely resembles the one before. If this breakdown shocked you even a little, then let your voice be heard. Do you think nuclear weapons should still exist? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. And if you believe more people need to understand what nuclear war really means, share this video so the message spreads. Thank you for watching and stay safe.